Welcome back. Tonight we are doing a replay cast and going to Division D East of a match between Dream Beam and LTK Golden Eye. The match happened 2 days ago on September 15th, and now I'm getting an opportunity to cast the games and I'm looking forward to it. Haven't gone to Div D yet, slightly above what I usually play in. But I'm very excited for the plays. Dream Beam, very, very strong competitor in their division so far, and with a very, very awesome logo, which you should have been able to see in the loading screen. And LTK Golden Eye having a bit of a rough start early in this season. They haven't managed to secure a win quite yet, but anything can happen. And I'm hoping that we'll see some very, very good plays from them tonight, that they'll be able to get a win or two. That would be fantastic for team morale too, of course. So, the map bans for this match. Sorry for being a little distracted. So, on the side of Dream Beam, they opted to ban Infernal Shrines and Battlefield of Eternity, two maps that favor team fighting very heavily. And on the side of LTK Golden Eye, they decided to ban Dragonshire and Volskaya Foundry. Volskaya, very difficult to get practice on that map since it's not in the pool for Storm League. And Dragonshire, a very difficult map to play on. A lot of teams struggle, especially on lower divisions, to play on that map. It works very, very differently than the others. And on game 1, we're going to Garden of Terror. Raka says, I miss there being a Div D Southeast. We always refer to it as Div D S East or Deceased. I didn't know that was a thing. I just joined NGS this season, so it's all pretty new to me. Alright, so without further ado, let's jump into the games and start watching. First, let's go into a short intro video and we'll be right back.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bomb.
Here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no!
Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Battle begins shortly, heroes.
Alright, there we go. A little while to appear. We are loading into this first game of the series between Dream Beam and LTK Golden Eye. On the left side, just going to make double sure we have the right people here and it's not swapped.
5, 4,
It looks right. Okay. We have Ronan on the Dehaka, Quinnell on the Chromie, Bluestein V2 on the Rhaegar, Resto Joe on the Tychus, and Scav13 on the ETC. And on the side of LTK Golden Eye, we have Acid Plague on the Lunara, Graph X on the Garrosh, Toko on the Leoric. The chat is blocking my view a little bit. I don't know if I can actually change its position. Hybreaker on the Anduin and Eric Elric on the Jaina. Looking forward to see potentially some Entomb plays with the Jaina. It's always a joy to watch, not a joy to play against. And with the heroes we see from Dream Beam, it is entirely possible to see the ETC go either for Mosh or for Stage Dive. Both could be potentially very good options. That would give them 2 globals, but 1 might just be enough. This map is large, but not too large. It'll flip onto the ETC, but he's able to simply dash back, and he has the support of his team. Both teams doing some pretty good job so far with the soaking. We see Toko getting very, very low on HP, but is going to be able to walk back. Drag probably on cooldown. While in the bottom lane, a duel between Restless Joe's Tychus and Acid Plague's Lunara. And neither of them taking a lot of damage. Toko is going to recall, while Dreambeam is taking that time to get their siege camp. Starting with a camp away from the objective. Now they're going to go for the other camps, it looks like. And with that, a slight advantage for Dreambeam in terms of experience and pressure. But LTK is going to be taking their camp as well. I think Dreambeam is going to have one more camp going into this first objective.
But which of you will gather them first?
Once again, both of those heroes in the bottom lane doing some sort of a standoff, not committing to trying to damage each other too much. Being careful and respectful of each other. The first seed is coming up. The experience is still pretty even. Dreambeam having time to take that third camp, and it's pushing very close to the objective, so it might not be able to get a whole lot done. But it might. Who knows? LTK is not in the bottom lane right now, or at the objective. They're just going to let this one go. Trying instead to recoup the slight experience that they have behind. Meanwhile, 3v3 in the middle lane, accompanied by this one siege camp. Janna is going to set up for a potential objective or camp here. He's going to wait for her team. A lot of pressure into the bottom lane. Lunara having a lot of trouble taking down that camp. She does a lot of damage to Tychus. And Garrosh is going for the gank. Will he get that flip? Ooh, he just barely misses the stun. I feel like if he went directly, stayed on his mount and went directly for Tychus, he might have been able to get the flip. But that's not something he wanted to test out. A lot of damage going on to the Jaina. She gets taken out by the combined efforts of ETC and Chromie. And LTK is going to have to give up on taking this camp. They're going to try and fight at this objective, but now it's a 4v5 for them. Anduin gets separated into the middle of the enemy team. He does manage to get away. Get some good peeling from his Leoric. But the resources, the health bars of LTK are getting very, very low, and it looks like Dreambeam is going to have another objective. It's worth noting as well that they had the level 7 advantage during that fight, which is very, very big as well. Lunara gets taken out by the combined efforts of Chromie and the Haka. Lots of experience dropping in the bottom lane. We'll see who goes to pick it up first. It looks like it's going to be Tychus. Going back to his lane with Rhaegar's help. Looks like Rhaegar is just going to be hanging out and helping. LTK might be losing on this experience, however, if they don't pick it up soon.
The anticipation is building.
Another seed is coming up, and for LTK, this might be a dangerous one. They might opt to simply give it to defend a relatively weak objective this early into the game and try to get the next ones, or they might decide to fight it, not wanting to give anything to their opponent. We'll see how they decide to approach this. They take this siege camp, which is going to be pushing in the bottom lane. They won't have pressure, counter pressure anyway, in the top lane. Dahaka using his global to put some pressure on before joining the fight. A lot of damage going on to the ETC. He might be in a slightly rough spot. Looks like he's going to be okay. LTK is already set up for this objective. All 5 members there. Looks like Dreambeam is opting to try and delay them while their Dahaka does some work, but they're not going to be able to get the poke quite as much as they wanted. The Anduin takes the not managing to pull his Garrosh out of trouble, and Garrosh is going to fall. And although LTK managed to get the seed successfully, keeping Dream Beam from getting the poke. Dream Beam, LTK is also going to lose a member of their team. And now Dream Beam has level 10 and they want to make use of it. They were looking for this camp, decided not to go for it with the Anduin being close by and having seen them rotate. Ooh, good drag onto the Leoric, but he's going to be just fine. Siege camp is being taken right as the objective is about to pop up, putting some pressure in the middle lane. While Lunara is coming up, bouncing around as she does. And the seed is coming now on the side of Dream Beam. It's going to be a lot easier for them to take it. This might be something that LTK has to give. And it looks like they're going to try and take this camp instead to mitigate the pressure in the top lane that's going to come. But what will they be able to do about middle and bottom lane? We'll have to see. They're about to get their level 10s as well. Let's quickly take a look at the ones that Dream Beam picked. We have Adaptation, love to see that. Slowing Sands, Ancestral Healing, Dragon Laser Drill, don't see that one often, and Mosh Pit. And on the side of LTK, we see the Ring of Frost, Light Bomb, Entomb, love to see it as well. Leaping Strike, and we haven't seen it yet from the Garrosh, but I'm expecting probably a taunt here. Oh, there it is. A lot of damage goes on to the Chromie. Well done by the Lunara, but Chromie uses her stop very effectively to cancel out the damage over time. Well done by her saving herself at the last second. And then Tomb goes on to the Tychus, but it looks like he's going to be fine. Puts down the Dragon Laser Drill. No deaths happening so far. Dream Beam managing to take down that bottom fort. There's still a lot of pressure into the top. It's going to do some damage to the gate, but it's going to be cleaned up in the end. Still a lot of pressure from Dream Beam all across the map. Let's see what LTK can do now that they're on equal talent tiers. Dream Beam having excellent macro so far this game. Taking camps as soon as they pop up. That is definitely what you want. We saw them banning the team fighting maps also, so we can infer from that that macro seems to be the style that they prefer, that they're good at, and they're definitely showing why they like to go on larger maps. They're going to look for an invade here on the Leoric, and there's an Anduin to try and save Toko, but he's going to fall. A lot of damage from the Tychus going onto him, and now Garrosh is in a lot of trouble. Even the Warlord's challenge is not going to save him. Jaina trying to come in and do some damage, but now she's the one in trouble. Slowing Sands, preventing her escape. She tries to use her Ring of Frost to escape, but that's just too much. Tychus taking the 3 kills onto LTK. A very strong display now. They're on a slight talent advantage. They're going to use their advantage to push the top lane, trying to solidify their push and create themselves a potential win opportunity. LTK has successfully relieved a lot of the pressure in the bottom lane. Counter pressure, counter engage from LTK. A beautiful Entomb goes down, but all the damage falls onto Toko, and a beautiful Mosh follows it up. Garrosh manages to walk away, no more kills. But without the Leoric, sorry, it's going to be hard for them to actually push back. Dream Beam. Yeah, Dream Beam. And they're going to position for this next objective. All the 5 members of LTK are back up, and they have more health than Dream Beam. This might be their time to shine before Dream Beam has level 16. Lunara doing some work on the Tychus, but the heal from Rhaegar is on point. A beautiful drag onto that Anduin secures the kill. Another kill onto the Garrosh. Jaina doing a lot of damage, but she's forced to retreat with a lot of damage going on to that back line from the Chromie in a very, very offensive position, trying to get the kill on the Jaina. Jaina dodges narrowly everything that comes her way and manages to escape, but unfortunately for LTK, they have to give this seed. And now LTK has a 3-level advantage. Quite huge at this point of the game. It's back to a 5v5, but with the level advantage, they can do almost anything they want. They might be able to push down this fort. LTK positioning to try and defend. Ooh, Jaina in a lot of trouble, but Tychus is being very, very ballsy with his advance. It's going to be taken out by the fort. And Dreambeam is looking for a potential new pick with the Slowing Sands, but they might not want to fight into a 4v5. The Chromie has been doing phenomenally this game. Let's look at the damage on both sides. We see Chromie with a 32,000 hero damage. Very impressive. On the other side, the highest we have is Lunara with 18k, which is also very, very good. But it's only about half of what Chromie has. And Tychus is right behind Chromie with 31k. So Dreambeam having the very, very vast damage advantage. Even though they have slightly less CC. Actually, they have about the same amount, now that I think about it. Especially with the Mosh and Slowing Sands. And Dreambeam is going to take advantage of their advantage by trying to take this camp. Beautiful ring catches 2 of the members of Dreambeam off guard. Lunara going to work into that back line, the Entomb to follow up, but the heals are on point once more by the Rhaegar. LTK opting to focus on the Tychus. He runs away. Will he be able to escape? Garrosh trying his best, but Tychus can attack while moving. And Garrosh is going to opt to simply run away. Oh, beautiful Mosh! Catches 4 of the members of LTK at the same time, and all 4 of them are going to fall. Toko trying his best to help his team escape, but he's going to fall as well. It's a full team wipe, and with this might be the end of the game. Dreambeam has a clear avenue to simply attack the core. 20 seconds to go. It's over. Very well played. What a mosh. Skev 13 saw the opportunity and took it. And unfortunately for LTK, they were not able to avoid it. And there it is. That's our first game. I'm going to readjust this. 1 second. There we go, that looks a lot better. So, let's look at the stats first. Dreambeam with an enormous amount of damage from both the Chromie and Tychus. Quinwell's Chromie on point with those abilities, which are quite hard to hit. Dehaka doing a phenomenal job on the experience. Using his global to his advantage. Rhaegar beautifully done on the heals, very, very impactful ones. And the ETC with those moshes that turned fights around and secured a lot of kills. On the side of LTK, they played pretty well too. I was very impressed by the Lunara, those lunging strikes, I think it's called, and the back line were very, very good, but unfortunately for her, Rhaegar's heals were just too strong to secure a kill. Leoric with very good entombs, always managing to get at least 1 person in. Anduin with the pulls, not quite able to save his teammates, often being prioritized as a target by Dreambeam. Very well done by Dreambeam as a display of strength into this first game. Let's look at the talents. If you like the way those players played their game, and you would like to try and replicate that or even do better in your own games, feel free to copy those. And since this is a replay cast and the alts are hidden by the numerical numbers, let's go over them real quick again. Adaptation, Slowing Sands, Ancestral Healing, Draken Laser Drill, which we don't see often, Mosh Pit, Leaping Strike, Warless Challenge, Entomb, Light Bomb, and Ring of Frost. Those Ring of Frost were very, very good, but unfortunately, there wasn't quite as much damage as they wanted to follow it up, Lunara being more of a damage over time kind of character. But that's it. There are more games to come. This is only game 1, so LTK has the opportunity to come back in the second game and bring us to a game 3. Let's go to a short break, and I'll be right back with our next game. Thanks for watching. Alright. Game number 2. Oh, thank you, Bloody Drapes, for the follow. Very appreciated. Game number 2 is going to be on Sky Temple. Now, we don't have draft information, but I thought to check the heroes profile page for this, and we can at least get the bands, the hero bands for both of those teams. So let's go over them real quick. In the first game, Dreambeam banned Joanna, Rightwing, and Vala, and LTK GoldenEye banned Asmodan, May, and Anubarak. And in the second game, we see very, very similar bans. Dreambeam going for Joanna and Rightwing once again, but instead of Vala, they banned Dehaka this time around. Not opting to play it, instead banning it, which makes me think that maybe LTK GoldenEye took the first pick, and they were worried about them taking it. Oh, it's actually a third pick, a third ban rather. So my theory might be wrong. Either way, we have Asmodan, May, and Leoric banned on the side of LTK. Leoric banned instead of the Anubrag this time, and they're not going to be playing it either. Let's go to a short intro video once again, and we'll load into the second game onto Sky Temple. We'll be right back.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light
Leave that
bulb.
here. 4-man mosh pit followed by Entomb. Oh no!
Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my god, when does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Alright, we are loading into game 2 of the series. Dreambeam is up 1-0. We'll see if they're able to quickly close the series, or if LTK is going to bring us to a game number 3. I always love to see game number 3. The closer it is, the more exciting. But for now, let's look at the heroes that both teams picked. We see Ronan on the Thrall, Skev13 on the ETC once more, Resto Joe on the Falstad, Quinol on the Nova, Bluestein V2 on the White Main. I do love to see a White Main. We see on the side of LTK, Acid Plague on Lunara again, High Breaker on Rhaegar, Eric Elric on Tychus, Graph X on Varian, and Toko on Imperius. A lot of picks that I quite enjoy seeing, as both teams are going to fight for this top vision tower. Rhaegar taking a lot of damage from the Nova. Nova, another pick that we really don't see often in NGS, but it's always interesting to see some of those off-meta picks every once in a while. Dreambeam once again with the global advantage with the Falstad. We'll see how they take advantage of that into the second game. We see the ETC of Skev13 once again. Once again, too, both Mosh or Stage Dive could be good to use on this map. But if he goes for Mosh Pit, we know he's going to use it very effectively. I'm surprised that LTK didn't opt to ban the ETC. Maybe they had more concerns with the other heroes they banned. We also see Imperius on the side of LTK, which I wouldn't call a off-meta pick, but it's always interesting to see him. I love all of his abilities. He can bring so much to not only a fight, but the offlane as well. And Varian, looks like it's going to be a taunt Varian as well. Ooh, Lunar taking a lot of damage from the Falstad. She does manage to escape. Resto Joe taking some damage from the turret is going to leave with about as much HP as Acid Plague. But with his healer support is going to stay in the lane. Meanwhile, LTK is taking this Vision Tower. I am not entirely sure who has the advantage in the offlane between Thrall and Imperius. It looks like Imperius wants to potentially set up a gank onto the Thrall, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Highbreaker on the camp. Rhaegar very good at taking those camps. Lunara being taken out. I wasn't looking at the right place. Well done by Dreambeam, however they managed to secure that kill. It looks like Whitemane dealt the killing blow. And they're going to be rotating mid-bottom, as is customary for this map. LTK don't have their healers to support them, but their healer to support them, but the healer is doing something very important, which is to take this camp very early on, which is going to give them a little bit of experience. They're slightly behind, but not by much. First temples are coming up, and Dreambeam is taking the middle one while LTK is looking to try and take that top one. A lot of damage from the Falstad onto that Rhaegar. Very well played. That Falstad already being very impactful. ETC with the bump of Toko is going to take a lot of damage too, however. LTK is fighting into that spell shield, which is going to give them an advantage, but there is just so much damage coming from Dreambeam as they're joined by, as LTK is joined by Lunara, but it's a little bit too late to bring the damage onto Dreambeam. Varian is going to fall. And LTK is taking the middle objective, but they're going to be pushed away by Dreambeam. No, it's actually a 4v3 for LTK. They might be able to take this and get some value. But Dreambeam managed to reach level 7 first, which is a little dangerous for LTK. Rhaegar taking a lot of damage, being bumped again and again and again into the back line. Toko in a lot of danger as well, is going to walk away. Ooh, a lot of damage from the Falstad. He went for the Lightning Rod build. How did that happen? Varian fighting the Thrall into the top lane. Looks like he's going to do a... Oh, he's going to actually be pushed away with Dreambeam coming to reinforce and try to get the gank, but he saw it coming. Ooh, ETC, very ballsy play, is going to try and get the bump onto Graph X. Almost loses his life for it. And LTK goes onto the counter engage. They're not going to be able to quite find the pick. While Falstad is putting some pressure into the bottom lane. He's going to be joined by Lunara. Raka saying, this is such a good video. Whoever made it is very clearly cute and talented. I think that's called patting yourself on the back, Raka. But I agree, the video is very good. You really did a good job on it. A lot of damage going into the Nova. Her decoy not going to be able to confuse the enemy, but her team going on to the save there, managing to save her with only about 40 or something HP. With a lot of poison on her as well, and going to take down the Rhaegar. Very well played by Dreambeam. I bet that Nova had her heart stop for a second. Dreambeam putting a lot of pressure in both top and bottom lanes. They have the level 10 advantage. We see Mighty Gust coming from the Falstad. I'm a little bit sad, I won't lie, to see Gust instead of Hinterland Blast from a team called Dreambeam. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing the Dream Beam. However, we see Precision Strike. That could be considered a beam. We also see Divine Reckoning, Mosh Pit once again, and Sundering. We're going to have to be careful. Dream Beam is going to have to be careful with those ults because a Gust or a Sundering into the Mosh could be... could counter-synergize. But if they have good conversation... they can make sure it doesn't happen. LTK not quite able to engage onto Dream Beam to try and defend their forts as they're waiting to get their level 10s. Dream Beam taking advantage of their level 10 here and getting an early advantage into this bottom temple. LTK doing some split pushing, or split soaking, rather. They finally get their level 10s and they're going to look to engage, but that's a 5-man team of Dream Beam, all focusing on Graph X, and he's going to fall, the Sundering, splitting Rhaegar away from his team and getting the kill as well, and now there's nothing that's going to be able to stop Dream Beam from getting this camp. I love the play from LTK, though, to stop to take this, this camp away from Dream Beam. Getting some value elsewhere on the map since they can't quite fight them head-on at this point in time. They're also going to get this other camp, but Dream Beam is securing this bottom fort, and they're going to get a lot of damage done onto the middle fort as well with this objective. Will they look to take it down just yet? It might be a little risky as all the members of LTKs are back up. Now they have pressure of their own into the top lane. Falstad doing some poke damage to the fort, but LTK is looking to get a pick on him. Taunt goes down, followed by a spear, and the leaping strike of Acid Plague, very well executed, and now they're looking to do the same to Skev 13. Another leaping strike secures the kill, very well done, and we see beautiful heal by the Rhaegar. Rona is going to desperately try to use Sundering to get away. Oh, and he's going to manage to barely do so with the amazing heals from the White Mane using her ult. And that... what is it called again? Precision Strike from Nova, securing the kill onto Tyke is very well done. LTK is going to turn around and try and get some value. Rhaegar very, very low on health, and he doesn't have his ancestral healing anymore. Falstad is back up, however, using his fly to come into melee range, but that's going to put him in a lot of danger. But the members of LTK are going to overcommit a little bit. Acid Plague barely managing to escape, but the same cannot be said of Rhaegar. Graphics trying to run away. He doesn't have an escape. That's a lot of damage coming onto him, and the empowered lightning rod of Falstad is going to take him down. Now it looks like Dream Beam are pinging for the boss. Will they take it? LTK doesn't have their tank anymore, but they have 4 team members still up. They're not going to be looking for a boss play quite yet. Instead, soaking all 3 lanes. Impeccable macro in this game once again. giving them a large experience advantage of 2 levels in this mid game. Another objective comes up, and Dream Beam is taking both of the temples early on. LTK trying to go on force onto the mid one. They're going to push away Dream Beam and take it. Looks like it's going to be an even trade in terms of objectives. But that's going to play in the advantage of Dream Beam since they have more structures than their opponent. Dream Beam looks like they're looking for a potential pick, a potential mistake from their opponent to try and turn this fight around and take the objective. Do they find it? A beautiful slide onto Toko, but the heal goes down. And Dream Beam is going to give up on trying to find the pick. LTK might be looking for a pick of their own. A lot of damage going on to that Rhaegar, slightly out of position. He takes a lot of damage, runs through the back line, but Sundering finishes him. Tychus, though, doing a lot of damage onto the ETC. It is going to even the trade. Acid Plague running away, being used by the Imperious. Beautiful Gust pushes LTK into the middle of all the damage. Toko not going to be able to run away, and it doesn't look like Varian is going to be able to do the same either. He might be able to dash. Nope. There he goes. Only Acid Plague escapes the insane damage coming from Dream Beam. And now Dream Beam has level 16s. They have the team members' advantage. They're going to put some pressure into that middle lane. They have a camp pushing bottom. Things are looking good for them. LTK isn't quite out of this yet. They still have an avenue to win this game, although it's not looking very good. I would be worried if I were in their team, but they have options still. If they can make it to level 16 as soon as they can and get on even fighting tiers, level tiers with their opponents, they might be able to win a game, a fight. Excuse me. They might be able to win a fight and turn this game around. Dream Beam is going to try and make full use of their advantage by taking this boss and preparing to take these next temples that are coming up as well. It doesn't look like LTK is going to have 16 in time for those objectives. They're going to do a lot of damage to those keeps. Thankfully for LTK, this damaged bottom keep is going to be left alone for now. But with their walls down, in the middle lane anyway, it looks like this keep might go down completely if LTK can't manage to take this objective before it's completely over. It looks like they're going to try and do just that. All 5 of them converging into the middle point, but Dream Beam is looking to do the same. It's going to be a 5v5 fight into the middle objective, but LTK doesn't have their level 16 quite yet. Toko uses his ult to try and survive, but he's taken out. Just like that, Acid Plague running away, stunning High Breaker, and a beautiful Gust pushes LTK into all of the damage of Dream Beam, and 3 of their heroes fall. And now Tychus is trying desperately to run away, but there's no out. He's resigned to his fate and tries to do as much damage while going out. And now Dream Beam has the full channel on this objective. They're going to take down this keep. And with the burst damage going onto this wall, they might be able to take down the next keep as well. They also managed to get the bottom one killed by the Nova onto the Lunara. Is going to further make this situation from bad to worse for LTK. And before they can even get to 16, Dream Beam almost has a level 20. This has got to feel bad. And while ETC is channeling the temple, Dream Beam is putting even more pressure into that top lane. See, Falstad versus Rhaegar. Falstad is going to win that. You don't want to stay too close to a Falstad with a Lightning Rod build. That is a lot of damage, especially with the 33 stacks. Falstad going to be joining the fight in the top lane. And both him and Nova securing 2 more kills, and it looks like that's going to be it for game number 2. Dream Beam clearly having a win condition here, but Lunara doing a lot of damage onto Resto Joe, but the heal is just enough to keep him alive, as well as the shields from Barrel Roll. Ah, that was so close to a pick from Acid Plague. Beautiful plays on the Lunara, both in games 1 and 2, but it's not quite enough. Dream Beam playing an impeccable macro in both games, managing to get level advantages and using those advantages to secure wins on the game. Once again, Lunara doing fantastic. And she might just have found a way to... the Mosh is interrupted. I was going to say this is a beautiful Mosh, but it got interrupted at the last second. ETC falls. The Rhaegar jumps into the enemy tank. But there are catapults on the core, and it looks like it's going to be it. There it goes. LTK almost managing to turn this around and find themselves an opportunity to turn around and do some damage, but unfortunately there was too much pressure from the macro of Dream Beam, and they couldn't defend for long enough. Let's go to the SAT screen. Alright. We see a lot of damage from that Nova, definitely pulling her own weight in terms of damage. It's quite rare that I see a Nova doing that much damage. Nova, very good at securing kills, but in terms of raw damage, she did fantastically. Falstad also pulling his own weight with the lightning rod. Less damage than I thought he did, but his damage was very impactful, securing kills. Thrall, Ronan's Thrall, beautiful sunderings were very, very, very impactful. ETC not quite able to get the big moshes that he did in game 1. And the White Mane managing to get clutch heals in constantly. Very, very well played by Dream Beam. Fantastic macro and fantastic individual player skills, as well as their team play together. Very dominant display. But LTK did very, very well too. Unfortunately, they weren't managed to pull it off in those 2 games. I was very, very impressed, especially by the Lunara. Those leaping strikes were on point, and the damage was great too. She was also very good at escaping death, but sometimes death runs faster than you can. And a Falstad with a barrel roll can definitely catch you off guard. Tychus also doing very, very well. Varian with the taunts followed by Imperious's spears were a very, very good setup for potential picks. But unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough in the team fights. And I have to say, Dream Beam's macro was simply out of this world. Even for Div D, like, that was very impeccable. One last look at the talents for the second game. We saw Sundering from the Thrall, Mosh Pit, Mighty Gust, Precision Strike, and Divine Reckoning. All ults being used to the greatest extent. Mosh Pit not quite as impactful as last game. Lunara's Leaping Strike was very, very strong. Ancestral Healing, Draken Laser Trail. I'm surprised we saw Draken Laser Trail played from both Tychus on both teams tonight. It's not an ult that I see very often out of him, but it can have some good impact. We saw Taunt out of the Varian, and Angelic Armaments from the Imperius. If you liked the way that those heroes, those players played their heroes tonight, make sure to copy those and or even adapt them and change a few things around. I mean, it's your game. Thanks a lot for watching tonight. This was a lot faster than I thought it would be. Quick 2-0. I do love to see 3-game matches, but 2-0s can be interesting to see as well. That was a very dominant display by Dream Beam. if you enjoyed watching tonight, I'm probably going to do another cast tomorrow. If not, well, we'll see for next week. But I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope you did too. Quick shout out to, first of all, NGS. If you like what they do and you want to help them continue to do more, please do contribute to their Patreon or buy some nice stuff from their merch store. They have some mugs and t-shirts, I believe, and they look fantastic. As for me, I do some video editing professionally, and I'm currently looking for work. So if that's something you're interested in, my info is in my description below, and I would be more than happy to make your projects come to life. And I'll see you very soon for another cast. Have fun in NGS, have fun with your games, and I'll see you soon.